Today on All Star Fandom, I'm joined by Kayla Hunt. She's an actor, voice actor, model, and mom of three boys, and who has worked on many major and independent projects. She's worked on shows, ads, commercials, and has even been on the Steve Harvey Show. She's now the voice of Calendar Girl and Batgirl in the fan animated series Batman Just Immortal.
About time you got here.
Better late than never.
So let's get to know Kayla Hunt. So, Kayla, thanks for joining us today to talk about the project Batman Just Immortal. Just a few questions about that whole process. So, how were you casted for the role of Calendar Girl and Batgirl, and what drew you to the project?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually sent a DM by Samuel on Instagram. He had seen one of the reels that I had posted some time ago. And I was kind of surprised actually because it had been so long since I had posted it. But, in the world of the internet, nothing goes away. So I was really happy to see that it was still out there and people were still able to view it. And it was a demo that I had done for my voiceover work. And he messaged me saying that he thought I would be a really good fit. And when I heard it was, Batman, I was like, absolutely, no
I know.
questions asked. And I jumped right in there. Like, who's gonna say no to Batgirl and Calendar Girl? Absolutely.
I know, and the fact that it's two roles too. But director Samuel Rivera did have this to say about you as well. And I quote,
Okay.
"I was looking around for a right female actress and saw a voiceover ad, Kayla's page, like you said before. I watched it, and within the ad, I could tell that Kayla's voice had a lot of range. She's very diverse and talented. It's one of the reasons I chose her to do two characters. So, what were your thoughts on what the director Samuel Rivera said about your portrayal and your voice as Calendar Girl and Batgirl?"
Well, I'm flattered. That's like super sweet of him. I I'm, really excited that I was able to show him something that, he was looking for. And I it's really corny to say, but I've coined myself the chameleon
Hmm.
when it comes to my voice acting, because I feel like I do have a really, diverse range, and I'm able to kind of, manipulate my voice into exactly like what the client wants. So the fact that, my reel showed that, it's really exciting because you never know how things are going to be perceived when you put something out there, especially like an art. And so I'm really excited that I was able to deliver something to him that fit exactly what he needed.
So I've watched a few clips and a few episodes of Batman Just Immortal, and this is sort of our side mission to question number two that we've been doing. Is there Can you give the viewing audience a little taste of your Calendar Girl and Batgirl voices? Because I like them both. They're great voices. So just want to share that now as a little teaser if anyone hasn't seen the shows yet.
Sure. Okay. So if I can remember some of the lines, Batgirl, she's obviously a lot younger, very energetic, and really wanting to impress. And so her voice is Miss Monroe, there's so many other ways to put your story out there. A little bit more breathy, kind of
Yeah.
eager. And then Calendar Girl, I based her voice, off of like an old Hollywood star. And she's she's got a bit more smolder to her. So her line went something like, when I was a little girl, when I'd look in the mirror, I knew exactly who I was. And now when I look, I can't even tell what was the word. What was the
It's very different
She says,
than Batgirls, right? Like the Batgirl voice you gave was, like you said, very
yeah.
younger. And then we go into this one, it sounds like she has like her stuff together.
Please, Miss Monroe, there's so many other ways to put your story out there. In 2 hours, we go live. One by one, I'll deface these girls. They call them the new faces of Gotham. But let's see when the new face has no face.
She's a villain you don't want to be messing with, that's for sure.
So with that being said, like which episodes or moment from Batman, the fan animated series Batman Just Immortal, has been your favorite so far?
Well, I'm a little biased because I am Calendar Girl, but I really did enjoy her ending monologue, her, I guess, famous last words.
Mhm.
Because I feel like I was really able to kind of get into her character more with this monologue. She had a lot to say. I do have to say I enjoy playing a villain, but I really appreciated the fact that Samuel, was shedding some light on suicide awareness. And if you remember I want to say it's at the end of the episode, they actually put the suicide hotline.
Mhm.
And I thought it was really, really neat to be a part of a project that was actually able to, not only be entertaining, but to bring some awareness to something, like a really serious cause.
Mhm.
So that was really touching. And I was really excited that I was able to lend my talent to that. So yeah, I would have to say her ending monologue, because it was very dramatic, but it was also very touching, and I think it really left an impact.
Good deal. Yeah. So with this series too being a continuation of Batman the animated series and Batman Beyond, were you ever a fan of either of those shows, or just like a Batman fan in general?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Batman. My dad is a bit of a comic fanatic, and I remember, the stack of comic books in the basement left to the ceiling, and I just remember, like, on Saturday mornings or whatever, day it had aired, like peeking over his shoulder and being like, "Daddy, can I watch with you?" And he'd have to kind of think about what was going on in the episode, make sure it was
Yeah.
kid appropriate, because it could get a little dark at times,
It could definitely.
just like the episode that I was in. But we used to watch it together, and so I've always been a fan of Batman. And I have, three little boys who love Batman, and they were so excited and a little confused when I told them I was going to be Batgirl and Calendar Girl. They were like, "Oh, huh?" So that was
I
fun
mean,
just
that's
to
pretty
kind of
cool to
tell
have.
them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to have a
Yeah,
mom like, hey, my mom's Batgirl.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Bragging
I
rights,
was
right?
I was waiting for questions at school from their teachers for sure, being like,
Oh
"So,
yeah.
they said you're Batgirl or something."
Yeah, just giving up your
So
secret identity and everything.
I know.
Yeah. But
Can't be doing that.
as a follow up to that question too, besides Batman, like who's like your, I would say like your Mount Rushmore of characters, but I like to put people up against a wall and just ask them their one favorite character. So favorite character within the Batman mythos, who you going with?
Poison Ivy, hands down. Absolutely. That girl knows what's going on. She is I mean, she's a villain,
Very
but
much so. Yeah, she is a villain.
she's a villain, but like I don't know, I vibe with her for sure. Like she knows what's up, and yeah, she was always a favorite for sure. So I know that there's always a possibility that she comes into the fan series. So Samuel,
Yeah,
I know you're
and we
watching this. I'm your girl.
would you like to just throw it out
Oh,
there now, or
oh
I
yeah,
don't want to
no.
put you in,
I
no
gotta do my
pressure, no pressure.
research.
Okay, yeah, okay, okay. So
It's time consuming. It is really time consuming, like looking through like all of the old versions, and like you want to give your own original. Like you don't want
mhm.
to copy, especially when you're doing something so iconic as, like Poison
Yeah.
Ivy. Here I am talking already like I got the role.
Hey,
um
put it out
if that
there.
time
Put it out there.
comes, I'm gonna be doing my research, and I'll sit there and watch a bunch of old, old cartoons, the
Yeah,
live
so
version and everything. So
yeah, so if you don't mind, if you could sort of take us into that process a little bit of how your research went in for Batgirl. Like how did that start for you?
yeah, so Samuel actually sent me a couple of clips about the voices that he wanted me to do, and
Hmm.
he kind of gave me a little bit of direction, and it works like that for most of my projects. Usually, when I get something booked, they tell me either a tone, or if they don't mention it, I'll ask. And he already was just like, okay, this is the Batgirl I want you to base it off of, and this is the Calendar Girl I want you to base it off of. So
Hmm.
I already kind of had the framework, and then it was
Gotcha.
just sitting there and listening and listening and listening and listening and listening. And I would record my voice a couple of times and just see how it sounded, because it
Hmm.
sounds one way when you're talking, but it sounds another
Yeah.
way when you're recording it. So I sat there and I listened to it, and it changed a couple of times
Hmm.
for Batgirl, because I'll be honest, like I couldn't. I couldn't nail it down right at first. It took me a little while. And then Calendar Girl, though, kind of came naturally to me. Like I said, it's those villains. They're just so
Yeah.
much easier to play. It's so hard for me, like, to play the like the superhero, because it feels a little unnatural to be like,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
here to
you're
save the day.
structured. Yeah, you're structured as one line. You follow that line, right?
Yeah,
But with the
but you have
villain, you
so
can
much
go either
more.
way.
Yeah, you could be real psycho with it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. Just hearing your process of how you know how you found your Batgirl voice.
Yeah,
Um, speaking with other voice actors, especially like Kyle, who plays Batman in this series, along with Kahindi, who plays the Joker. Just how they sort of like you, similar to how you said, you don't want to be a carbon copy of another voice. You
right,
want to still
right.
be different. And I definitely felt like your Batgirl and Calendar Girl were very different, but there were differences but similarities that made me feel like this is the right spot, and that was great with the voices. So really, really
Thank
good job. I
you.
liked hearing that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so much fun.
so Kayla, do you have any new projects or releasing any future episodes or anything that you're working on currently that you like to let the viewers at home or whoever wherever they're watching this right now know? And along with that, just your social medias on where they can find you too.
Sure. So for social media, you can find me. I would say Instagram is probably the best way to reach out, or to view my projects. That's Kayla Emery Hunt on Instagram. And then for projects, a lot of the stuff that I do is for like brands and companies internally. So unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that I do isn't able to be seen by the public. It's like for inside the company. But I do have, I think my voice is in the box somewhere for a plush animal company. So we're waiting on what happens with that. I have also been working on some like short film type of projects that I've just been doing myself, putting out there, trying to always teach myself
Mhm.
new skills. I am a regular on Sermons for Kids. It's like an online Bible school that you can like buy a subscription for. So I'm constantly doing projects with that, and yeah, just hopefully keep working with the same clients that I've had since I want to say COVID started,
Yeah.
and yeah, social media. It's long answer short.
Well, we got
Instagram.
gotcha. Well, Kayla, thanks for joining us and talking about Batman Just Immortal and your process through that and being Calendar Girl and Batgirl. We can't wait to see what other roles, wink, wink, that you get going, yeah, going forward with Batman Just Immortal. But again, thanks for joining us today. And this has been another episode of All Star Fandom. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, do all the social media stuff. You know all that stuff by now. Be sure to do all that, but just for All Star Fandom, that'd be great. But until next time, Kayla, again, thank you so much for being a guest. And until next
It
time,
was an
peace.
honor. Thank you. Bye.
To watch the fan animated series Batman Just Immortal, head over to youtube.com/at Batman Just Immortal. And be sure to follow the #1 Batman the Animated Series fan page on Instagram at Batman the Animated Series _.